Hey friends, continuing on with the idea of we have Red Death at home, this is a Crimson video. We initially started off Destiny 1 with Red Death. I don't remember if the RPM was the same, but very similarly functioning gun. Well, kind of. They took the Ace of Spades approach to Destiny 2 with its reformed version, having every bonus you can imagine. It's like a fanfic weapon with all the list of bonuses it gets. Anyway, it's getting nerfed, but I don't know if that's necessarily going to make it not suddenly a top 10 weapon in the game. I think it's still going to hang because last time when they said they would hit no time to explain, it was barely a slap on the wrist. Anyway, let's focus on Crimson. Crimson is one of my favorite weapons despite not being one of the most powerful, especially on mouse and keyboard. You need to track controllers a little bit easier to track with, whereas MNK, you just have to have it like that sometimes. And the way that the sight picture looks on this gun, even with this ornament, which is one of the best ones, it's an uphill battle to use Crimson. And the reason is, it's under 30 meters of damage drop off. So if you have some form of Radiant to get the 2 burst, you also have to have Radiant plus 2 surges to kill 10 resilience. All a Rose player has to do is do a backslide, and you lose because you have to put an extra burst in. Yeah, I know the game isn't binary like that and every gunfight isn't that simple, but the point is, a single bullet that does high damage is better than a burst weapon. Burst weapon is so much harder to use, and for that reason, Crimson fails at its job as both a pulse rifle and a hand cannon, in my opinion, to a point where I think its place in the sandbox is using Dragon Shadow or Lucky Pants with some form of grenade launcher or bow or something like that. Hit them once with the high impact, swap to Crimson, clean up, and you're back to full health. As a raw dueler, it doesn't really do it for me. Although succeeding with it is very satisfying, going on feeds is very possible. Yesterday, what did I rank hard light? Like middle of the pack weapon? This is slightly above that. This is a tier above that, but still not enough to solo carry in a lobby. As soon as people realize what you're using, makes a very distinct sound. All they do is go, oh, okay, I'll just back up a step, and you lose. So that was my experience with Crimson. I could barely get anything going once people recognized what I was trying to do. They made themselves the hardest kill possible, which inadvertently saves their entire team from the impending 7th column. So, yeah, that's just my experience with this. Whereas if I was using Red Death, it doesn't matter if they take a step back. It's going to beam them. 0.67 at base. 0.87 at base. More range, great recoil. Can't see what I'm aiming at. Like, you see the comparisons? It is ridiculously different. Despite all the negatives, I still find Crimson to be one of my favorite weapons, and I hope you enjoy the gameplay. I use Knucklehead Radar with it so I can snap between 2 targets. That's also very satisfying. That's why I switched to higher M&K sense. The shotgun I'm using, it has autoloading holster, which lately I have valued as a perk because I'm always going recuperation and I actually need 2 surges for Crimson to 2-tap. We have Acrobat Dodge. Smoke also can pop Radiant. And then I have 2 forms of Radar Manip between the Threaded Spectre and the Snare. A lot of the time for me to get a duel, remember, if they hear the sound of Crimson, they just go, I'm going to go the other way. What I do is I Acrobat Dodge at the very, very edge of a doorway so that they can see the arm of the Threaded Spectre. And after a couple bullets get exchanged between teammates, opponents, or in Rumble, they'll be like, okay, that was definitely a Threaded Spectre, because if that was a player, he probably would have peeked by now. And it lures him into this false sense of security, which means I can wide swing it and get a real duel, which leads to another person being like, oh, I hear gunfights, let me go investigate. And by the time you win your duel, you're already getting full health, and you delete the second player too. That's how it should go on paper, but that's not how it goes on practice. You really, really have to work for a kill, almost to the point where I wish I could run invisibility, like Void Vanilla invisibility with this, but then I would be losing out on the 2-tap. So in previous sandboxes, I had to go Acrobat Dodge with Extended Radiant, and that was okay for 6s because you don't really need the Radar Manip as much in 6s. But Prism's nice. It truly feels like a hybrid. Also, I proc the Sever, Facet of Solitude, off the TTK of Crimson. So my second kill is free because I essentially get wall hacks. And I get my invis. So, and I get a Tangle. So the combination of those 3, yeah, you can go on some tears with Crimson. Blink too. Prism Hunter's cool. I will see y'all in the next. Don't want to talk in circles here. Enjoy the gameplay.
They are your life. Zone C captured. Enemy claims Zone A. Enemy claims Zone B. You have my respect, Hunter. Shut the enemy down. Zone B captured. You have zone advantage. Double down. Fight until there's nothing left. Zone C lost. Zone A captured. You have zone advantage. What can stop you if you fight together? Nothing. Ugh. As one. I love it. I would tear out a Vex heart with my teeth. I would sear the Cabal with my burning light, challenge the fallen Kells to personal combat and scatter them. I've been watching too many series. victory gives the city hope.